Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome to Russ Can't Fly. All right, let's get it. It's hot. I gotta fly. Let's go. All right, so watching this Navajo land is
now it's your final one, deck.
pretty cool. And just waiting for them to come on in. Once they come in, they've got a back taxi. And once they back taxi, ooh, that was pretty hard, yo. Golly, dog. All right, so gonna pull up, did my run up. Gonna pull up here. All right, so we are going to make our way out to one of my favorite airports, Wings Field. Now, the reason why I'm flying into Wings is there's gonna be an event there.
It's clear runway 1, deck.
Oh, he cleared there. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, so we're gonna go on off to Wings. All right, so let's make sure everything is good. So, trim is set for takeoff. Flaps are up. Mixture is full rich. Fuel tank is on. And we're gonna turn on our taxi landing light. We're gonna wait for this airplane to make his back taxi. And so that was the thing about this airport out here in deck. When you land, you got a back taxi. So I'm waiting for this airplane, this Navajo, to twin to back taxi. And I got another behind me. And so as soon as he clears, we'll be good to go. Alright, mixture is full rich. Flaps are up. Carb heat is cold. Trim is set for takeoff. Mixture is full rich.
Deck traffic, now it's clear 1, deck.
And deck traffic, Cessna 94006 departing runway 1 out to the east deck. Alright, final is clear. No one is on the field. Alright, I see 1 and 1. Alright, heels to the floor, full power. Alright, engine instruments in the green, suction, oil pressure, oil temp, all look good. Airspeed is coming alive. And we are gonna go flying.
One of the things I will say is that this was the busiest I've ever seen deck. It's the first time I've had to wait for somebody to back taxi, and the first time I had not one but 2 airplanes behind
And we're up and off. Now, the one thing I'll say about this takeoff is checklists are important. I know a lot of times we do a lot of this stuff from memory, but got to be on top because I almost missed my carb heat being on. That would have been a disaster, especially in Little Sammy. We're in Little Sammy again. And I believe this engine is 105 horsepower. And so every bit of horsepower is needed. So that's not a thing to play around with at all. And deck traffic, Cessna 94006. Left, right crosswind turn, out to the east, northeast, last call, deck. Yeah, so that was very, very interesting takeoff and very important use of checklists. The other thing is terrain. So I know that I was going to be making a right crosswind turn out to the east, southeast really. And I know I have some terrain to deal with, but those are part of your performance calculations. And I know even in Little Sammy, I can get where I need to get to in order to get over these mountains or hills or whatever. If I had a performance issue, then what I would do is I would either go left or right and kind of split over here to kind of get out of that area there. And so those are all those things that, you know, you got to be mindful of. All right, climb checklist. Mixture is where I need to be. Power is set. Carb heat is cold. Taxi landing light can come off. And we're going to climb up to 3,500. And we are on our way to Wings Field. Now, if many of you don't know, every time I fly into Wings, it's almost kind of nostalgic for me because Wings Field is where I did my flight training. And I will say that every time I fly into Wings, I get this sense of just kind of awe because I can remember times where I would be flying to that airport or driving to that airport thinking, okay, I'm going to get in this plane and I'm going to take off. I don't know what I'm doing and I am scared to death. And so those types of things are always so fun. But it's fun to land there in Little Sammy and just make my presence felt, you know, at Wings Field. So just such a great deal. All right, so we're climbing out up to 3.5 and should be a relatively short flight. Well, it's a short flight, but for Sammy, Little Sammy, it's some doing for sure, because you gotta you gotta love 77 knots over the ground. That's what, 80 miles per hour? All right, so let's get my wings frequencies in there. Somebody asked me the other day, am I interested in skydiving? And the answer is no. And you may be thinking to yourself, you are such a hypocrite. Here you are flying in airplanes and you talking about you scared to jump out of one. Well, that's the thing. It's one thing to be flying in a perfectly good working airplane, and it's another to jump out of a perfectly fine working airplane. Two different things in my mind. So yeah, I don't know. But every time I hear that skydiving thing, it makes me think, yeah, that's not something that I think I would be interested in, but you never know. All right, we are on wings frequency. Definitely some clouds, if you see out there, definitely going to stay below them. Might even cheat over here a little bit. I'll be off course, but that'll be better for my whole cloud situation. So I'm going to cheat over here, shoot this gap. So you see the nose is pointed right between those two. Oh, okay now. That's the one thing I forgot about Little Sammy, boy. You feel it all. Look at that cloud. Isn't that beautiful? Now, I'm away from it, from where I need to be, but clouds are just amazing, but it's another thing, like when you're up here amongst them, it's just such a trip. That is amazing. Like, look at that. It just kind of towers up like that. That's so amazing. Now, one thing I noticed about Little Sammy, too, is if you got to stay on top of it, like little stuff will happen, and next thing you know, you drop like 500 feet like that. Easy to fly, yet it needs a lot of attention. Definitely getting pushed around here a lot. They're going to be looking at my flight path. Like, what is all this? Well, it's because of this stuff. Trying to make sure I'm good with these clouds. That's one thing I definitely need to be careful of, is thunderstorm popping up on me. So what I'm looking at here too is I'm also looking at the viz, just seeing if there's any rain. And you can see it's just really hazy. Really hazy. But there's definitely a lot more clouds. Just looking for any pop-up thunderstorms. Anything that I need to be mindful of, especially in a little baby like Sammy. Gotta be really careful. You know, turbulence will shake this bad boy apart. So definitely just need to be more mindful of what's happening along those lines. And so that's one thing to be. Weather is very important to all facets of aviation. It doesn't matter if you're in a 152 or a 787. Weather is all key, and it's something that definitely needs to be paid attention to, for sure. All right, so we are, by Little Sammy standards, we are cooking. Going about 95 knots over the ground. I'm at 3,500 feet. On my way to Wings Field, Kilo, Lima, Oscar, Mike. My training ground. Spent many an hour sweating like crazy over my flight training. Definitely crazy. And it's just such a phenomenal blessing to have had the opportunity to even do flight training, let alone complete it. I don't take it for granted at all. It's something that I'm definitely mindful of that. I am very, very fortunate that I get to do that. So it's interesting, the ceiling at Wings is 5,000. It's broken. All right, so definitely gonna have to make sure, and I can see it. So you can see what's going on here. That's that broken. See those clouds? Those clouds are definitely significant. So nothing dealing with that. It's 5,000, so I'm at 3,500. I've got to go down to 3,000 anyway because there's a Bravo shelf, the Philadelphia International Airport Bravo shelf. So that'll give me my 2,000 feet below this broken layer. I have to be 500 below, but I think I want to be a little bit lower than that broken because I believe that 5,000 layer of broken clouds are some serious, interesting clouds. So I definitely want to be mindful of what kind of clouds they are, not that they're just clouds, because not all clouds are created equal. Some of them will bite you in the behind. Plus, I don't want to get underneath something and there's like some severe downdraft, and I'm only dealing with a 105 horsepower engine. So I know what I have and what may happen, and those two things happening, downdraft and my capabilities of what I'm dealing with in terms of engine and horsepower definitely is, could be, could make for a interesting day. And flying is interesting enough. I don't need to make it colorful. And you can see it's getting a little funky, just as I had expected. Oh. So what that feeling was is like, you ever remember those rides at Six Flags, whatever, like Demon Drop or whatever, those things you go up and it just drops you? That's what that feels like. Goes to the pit of your stomach. Alright, so I am about 17 nautical miles. I am northwest of the field. And you would think I'd be able to look out here and know all of this stuff. How many times have I done this flight where I come and I can hear beneath saying, you need to be slowing down, you need to, all of that kind of good stuff. I always kind of remember that I can follow the road here. I believe that's the turnpike. And that would lead me to Wings. I remember when I was getting ready to prepare for my check ride, and I was flying with two CFIs.
Penrith traffic, now left downwind, 426, Penrith traffic.
And they were basically trying to see if I was ready for my check ride. So I noticed both of them were quiet, and I'm looking out over here, preparing myself to land at this airport that I obviously have in my sights. I noticed how quiet both of the CFIs are being, and then all of a sudden, the one just finally broke the news to me. Sure, you got the right airport in sight. And of course, the upshot is I did not. I was looking at Willow Grove Naval Station, which has been closed for what, almost 10 years now? Crazy. And so it goes without saying that I was a little disappointed. All right, let me make my call here. Wings traffic, Cessna 94006, 10 to the west, inbound for runway 24, Wings traffic. And it's funny, this all used to look familiar, like this whole, everything out there, the front, all the sides, all the different buildings. And now I'm not used to seeing it anymore. But again, the beauty is I get to do a cross midfield for a left downward for runway 24. And Wings traffic, Cessna 94006, 5 west of the field, going to do a midfield for left downward for runway 24 Wings. So let's slow down here a little bit. Get ready for landing, check our brakes. Brakes feel good. Mixture is full rich. Gonna turn on our taxi landing light. Flying to Wings, my airport of training. Now my dream is to have my own airplane and have it hangared at Wings. Now, know anything about it? Airplanes and hangars? Wings Field, how absurd that statement I just made. Everything about that is absolutely absurd. 10 wings traffic, Cessna 94006, overflying the field for a left downwind for runway 24 wings.
Wings traffic, Archer 256, Foxtrot Alpha at the upper ramp, texting to runway 24, wings traffic.
10 wings traffic, Cessna 94006, left downwind, runway 24 wings. Alright, always be mindful of your speed. Look at those swimming pools. Alright, focus. 10 wings traffic, Cessna 94006, turning final wings.
Russ.
Yes, sir.
What's going on?
Everything, baby, is gravy. A little high on this approach, though.
Yeah, you can flip it down.
Alright, you know the drill. Time to get this bad boy on the ground. Let's get it.
Alright, welcome to Rings Field. I'm here. So gonna go over here, talk to some peoples, hang out a little bit, and have some fun. So thank you for flying with me. Welcome to Wings Field. Russ can fly. I'm out. See ya!